Hello, welcome once again to Sunrise. On this beautiful Saturday, December is almost nearing an end.
Yep.
I'm Joke Rogers, and beside me is...
Ayo Makinde is my
always,
name.
No drum rolls for you today.
I have to go back to Thursday morning.
What happened on Thursday morning?
You know that song? The sky looks misty and cloudy. It wasn't misty and cloudy.
It wasn't. It just the rain just
poured. Dark. I had to use the headlamps to drive to the office on that Thursday morning. It was dark. To make it more interesting, let me not say not worse. Just that morning, someone had sent in a message to me at about 6:30 or thereabout. 6:30, that there had been an accident somewhere around 7 up. That's okay. If you are going towards the third mainland bridge, you're gonna have to be patient. This, that. And then I began to see. It was as if it was getting darker as it was getting bright. I mean, I don't know if it was dark.
Why
like
are
it was
you so dramatic?
Sick. It was sick. It was
just rain, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't drive that morning.
No, but there were other things I had to do that, and I understood the rain that morning too. We are totally different. Yes, I was wondering in December, but it comes once in a while after the dry spell. There are one or two, off-cycle, let me call it off-cycle.
Off-cycle rain, yes. That usually is supposed to be in September anyway. We've gone past that one.
It happens
but you see, this particular one, it was like I had never seen it before. It was really dark. Somewhere 7:30, it was really dark.
Yeah, it was actually.
There is no umbrella
that
anyone would use that day, that even your head will not get wet.
It is well.
None. So anyway, that's how that day went.
Yes, and through the week too, the reign of defections, continued. Oh. Yes, and the River State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, formally, announces defection to the All Progressives Congress, and he gave his reasons why. He said he wanted to allow peace to reign in River State, and he also lauded the leadership of the president to say that he did everything possible to ensure that River State was, was stable, being a very important state. And of course, even during the week, he already has his membership stamped now. So he's now so he was commissioning some projects. Some months ago, he commissioned projects as PDP governor. Now, he's commissioning projects as APC governor. And then the Adeleke too.
Oh, no. Adeleke. Yes. You see, if the culture is to be sustained of the governor being the party leader in the state.
Yeah.
So, where do we go from here? 17, I think, members of the House of Assembly. They were like forerunners to the governor in the APC. And now the governor himself is there. What's going to happen to the other 10 members? Are they going to try to impeach the governor now? I don't know. And we hear that he said he was waiting for signal. When I hear signal, it's either police or the security agencies. So, and I said, I went to see the president, and then we got a signal. Was a signal from the president, or was it from, the FCT minister? I don't know. Anyway, the FCT minister was said to have been surprised that the 17 members that were his allies moved to the APC, and they didn't tell him. I would take that with a pinch of salt.
Yes, so would I.
Because they are not defecting for the first time.
Yeah, but anyway, he said that anybody can belong to any party they so wish to belong to, that he can't force anybody to remain in any party. And as for him and his house, he will serve the PDP.
Now,
I don't know for how long, but that's what he said.
With the massive depletion, or rather continuous depletion of the PDP, I guess we'll wait to see how that goes. Now to Governor Adeleke that you mentioned, he has not only moved to the Accord Party.
He has declared himself.
He didn't declare himself. The party said he is the sole
candidate, yeah.
If we are wrong, please correct us.
Yes.
Sole candidate. Meanwhile, we understand that there were hundreds of people who were thinking about going for governorship.
Well, at least it's the thinking process. They can stop thinking now. There's no need to think anymore.
Anyway, it's the transfer season in the election process. So we're still in the transfer season.
And you know, for the reasons why all these people give now is that, maybe some people wanted to defect before and it just wasn't quite right moment. Now they say that the PDP is falling apart. There's an implosion, there's this, there's that. And we can see it, really, all the infighting. So it's as if they're now hiding under that to say, I'm moving.
Well, there will always be a reason to do anything, but let's not take that. There will always be a reason. That anyone who wants to move from one political party to the other, the question that I've continued to ask Joke is, what is the political ideology of every political party in Nigeria? Because it would seem like we don't have one. And for as long as we don't have one, people can crisscross any which way they like. And maybe that is what has been happening now. The question then is, how do we make progress from that? Anyway, I love to celebrate. We have celebrated the fact that those 100 children have been released, and I'm hoping that the others will follow suit in good time. But there is something that excites me, and I would love for us to also highlight a bit. And that is the fact that we pay attention to all kinds of things, right? We pay attention to everything that is not so right. And you know what that does is turns our eyes, our faces away from the things that seem to be working. For instance, I don't know the number of times we have talked about the student loan scheme. How well it's going, I don't know. There's also been a lot of noise, particularly by the National Orientation Agency, about the CNG initiative, presidential CNG initiative, and how that so many people have been trained about it and all. And then on Channels Television, you've also been seeing that the federal government has come up with Youth Cred, kind of a credit scheme program for young people. Usually the challenge that I would have is, how are we communicating these things to the young people?
To the young people, yeah, it's true.
Because unless we put it out for them to know that it's not just an initiative, it's an initiative for them, then we're going to continue to have those problems. What do you think?
I think so too. If you ask now, we'll be told that there's so many channels available. They put it in newspapers, they do adverts, maybe social media, where the youths usually, that's where they spend a lot of their time. But, we still have a situation where many people that need to know, I would say the people that need it the most, there's a huge percentage of them that don't get these things. And when you see the infomercials that the government puts out, you see the young people saying, acknowledging the fact that, oh, the government has been doing this, I'm enjoying this, I'm enjoying it. But how large is the percentage of those that do actually get to know about it or do enjoy
and do anything about it?
Yes. Do anything about it.
So the federal government calls it Youth Cred, Credit Initiative. There's a Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, and they are targeting unemployed young people. Now, they say that under the scheme, gainfully employed Nigerian youths between ages 18 and 39 can get up to 5 million naira credit. And guess who was making the announcement? The finance minister.
But how is that different from what is being done, before? There's so many initiatives that even governments before this one have been put in place. Empowerment, youth empowerment. We hear so much about youth empowerment. How is it different?
It's a question to ask, and I'm hoping that the government will provide more perspectives for people, because at the end of the day, hey, what exactly is there for us to do other than to look at these issues and just bring them up as well. Anyway, the point that I want to make is, look, there is a lot not going right in the country, I agree, but there are many opportunities out there. Search, you will find. One of them is this startup bill, or startup law. It's more for technology, for those in the technology space, and it's an opportunity that everyone can explore. So please, in the middle of all of these things, we hear that even American billionaires say Nigeria is the next best thing after sliced bread. They are all coming into the country. While many of us want to go out, that's fine. However, please, take advantage of all the opportunities that are right there.
Right. So, yeah, what do we have today?
Yes, we are going to start with a focus on the fight against corruption. That's the first conversation we'll be having this morning.
And then we have Offa project. I had to give value to those words. An opportunity to speak Yoruba. Offa project. That's from Kwara State.
I don't think that's it. Yeah, you're my guy, so you should have to do the correct pronunciation.
Okay. Offa project. Does that sound good for you? Right.
Then we'll go to Rivers State for Rivers Christmas Discount Market. Find out how what that is about.
And then this is a total reverse for me. How depression saved my life. It's like maybe going into a coma to save someone that's dying.
Okay.
Right?
Well, this is one of those topics that is, okay, depression is supposed to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But if it saved your life, you want to find out how. As you can see, it's in inverted commas. Find out what that is about. Our taste of the week. As Alera would say, let's say he's a he.
He's a he.
All right, so do yourself a favor.
I have my cup ready.
Yeah, someone has a cup of cocoa.
Where's yours?
They have not given me mine this morning. Thank you very much. I don't want to mention your name on there. You know yourself.
Oh,
and we'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Stay with us.
But you're always on my mind.
This song reminds me of what happens when you find some people in the dock. How the people who stay with you at that time, they are the ones that will be your friend.
Yes, sir.
Or not.
Or not.
And also, that's so. There's this saying in southwestern Nigeria that it's when things are tough that you know your friends. And believe me, corruption is a tough matter. Anyway, corruption has caused a crisis of trust in Nigeria's institutions and society. It's one of Nigeria's most critical but least understood governance challenges. As a country, we've sought to tackle corruption by focusing on legal and institutional measures, including reform of public procurement and public finance management, enactment of anti-corruption laws, and the establishment of various anti-corruption agencies tasked with investigating and punishing incidents of corruption. Now, this focus on strengthening institutions and imposing tougher sanctions is critical, but innovative and complementary efforts are required to shift cultural attitudes to corruption at all levels of society.
Yeah.
Those who would also point to the fact that when we talk about the fight against corruption, sometimes it's governance related, sometimes it's institutional, sometimes it is political. Let's look at all the angles this morning with Mr. John Oloyede, who is a legal practitioner. He joins us here in the studio. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
We also have Mr. Tony Daniel, who is also a legal practitioner. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Thank you.
And we also have joining us from our Kano studio, former chairman of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission. He's a prosecutor engaged by the Kano State government to coordinate and prosecute corruption cases. Mr. Muhuyi Magaji. He joins us from our Kano studio. Thank you for joining us this morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Oh, okay. So you're just from Kano. Thank you very much. You can see your huge library. Let's start with you, sir, Mr. Magaji. What's been your own experience? And I ask that because you have been quoted somewhere as saying that fighting corruption in Nigeria is as dangerous as taking on Colombian drug cartels. Now, that's a very strong thing to say, isn't it?
Yes, certainly. I am saying that based on my personal experience. You see, I happen, like as you rightly pointed out, I happen to be the executive chairman of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission. I was appointed in 2015 by the immediate past governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, and I spearheaded the commission till 2021 when I was forced to quit that commission under the pretext of investigating my activities in that place. And it was only the intervention of the Court of National District Court of Nigeria, both in Abuja and Kano Division, that made it possible for me to come back. And even when I come back, it was only the Court of Appeal that said me, because the Code of Conduct say I must leave the office even when nothing was found against me, or even the case was not even tried. So, by the way, what happened recently that made me to make that comment is the recent arrest that I was subjected to as a result of the investigation that was carried out by the commission when I was the chairman of the commission, and and also on the issue of the case that we are prosecuting today that concern some politically exposed persons.
It leads me to this question. Mr. Magaji, just 1 second. When we talk about, anti-corruption in Nigeria, to a large extent, particularly for those who are politically exposed, a good number of people have the perspective that it's more political than governance. So I want you to speak to that, because sometimes it's the people in opposition that get the flax that get the anti-corruption flack from government. So we want to speak to that first of all. How much of our war against corruption in Nigeria is political compared to governance and institutional?
Well, the recent happens. I think I began to think otherwise, because in my own case, I can tell you that the vindication that I have is the person that employed me was the person that suspended me under the pretext of doing something. But initially, it is the fight against corruption that, attract whatever happens that way. So, but the issue is that there are serious allegations that the government only punished us in opposition. And I think I start to agree in some extent if an investigator who is investigating alleged corruption and that another component of government that is semi-independent of that of the federal, but the federal institution will be made to use its own models to squeeze that process, simply because that government in place is not an opposition, or is belong to opposition, and not even allowing the court, because all these matters are before the court. And the presumption is that whenever the matter is charged before the court, or whenever there is a matter before the court, then any other things will cease. But it might interest you to know that police investigation is investigating a case that is filed, and even in their own police wireless message, the signals, you can see that there are alleged that false charges.
Mr. Magaji, while I understand, and I would like us to, take this, conversation around quite a bit. I just want you to speak to that specific.
Yes.
There are allegations that anti-corruption czars, such as yourself, at some point, are used as political watchdogs against opposition figures. That's why I'm asking, how much of anti-corruption battles that we fight in the country are political? How much of those are governance-related and institutional?
I think whole fight against corruption is supposed to be institutional, if I'm right. And when you say political, it needs political will to fight corruption. So depending on the level and the point you are looking at things, for instance, if you said people in the anti-corruption community are being used against those in the opposition, I can agree and disagree. Agree in the sense that it might be possible because we are all human beings and we have our own priorities. But I can disagree because I know I'm not.
But you agree that it is.
I have two scenarios.
You agree that it is possible.
It's possible because of my personal experience too.
Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Oluede,
yeah.
That same question about the institutional, political, and governance-related issues concerning corruption.
Well, you actually sounded like you were cross-examining. Yes, because you had to get him to answer your question. Yes, I mean, this is something we've talked about over the years. I mean, I've been appearing here for over a decade discussing corruption and anti-corruption. And we all know that, yes, there has to be political will before we can make a headway in Nigeria in tackling corruption. But more often than not, the perception out there is that the man in power or the people in power tend to use the witch hunters like EFCC, DSS to track down the opposition and deal with them appropriately. And that's why more often than not, you see situations where somebody has been apprehended, charges are brought against him, and then suddenly it decomes to the ruling party.
Yeah.
Once it decomes, old things are passed away, all things have become new. Suddenly the case drags for a bit of a period, and before long, the next thing you hear is that, oh, the case has been struck out. The public didn't know when that happened, or suddenly a lawyer brings an application that, oh, the charges are frivolous, they are incompetent, and they get struck out, or there's a plea bargain. So when you look at the scenario, you tend to relate with the people out there, with us out there, that look, this is not institutional fight against corruption. It's more political, and it's not about political will. It's lack of political will, because the motivation for going after people who are perceived to be corrupt is just about getting them, cornering them, and getting them to come to your side. Once they do that, that ends the fight. There's no longer fight. Everybody becomes. Let me give you this very very recent instance. Yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, I saw the governor of Rivers State, Fubara, and he decamped to APC. And he got his card, 00 number 0001. And he sent a message to anybody who cared to listen out there that, look, I'm now in charge.
Yes.
I'm the #1 person in APC in Rivers State. The first day he became a member of APC. And the people who were always reporting him to Aso Rock, saying all sorts of things, that he was spending money without a budget and all that. That's the members of the House of Assembly who were always out there mocking him and all that. They said, well, see, he has been doing this since he got back, and we have decided to stay calm. What else would they have done? They were not calm before. But after they came to APC, they became calm because they can no longer checkmate him. And he's untouchable. That is the kind of fight against corruption we are having. Okay. And so that can be institutional.
Let me bring this to you. Talking about the political angle now, I know that we'll still go to the institutional and legal and all of that. There are 3 former ministers. No, let me put it better. There's at least three former APC ministers in the last dispensation that are being investigated for corruption in this country by this same government another APC government. So how is that political?
Well, in every general situation, there is some exception. But let me quickly say that it was in this studio I said they should arrest Malami, and I commended the EFCC for arresting him, because there was a time we brought to the fore the corruption in NYSC, and I was shocked that Malami filed an application against my suit, to expose the corruption in NYSC. So that makes me know. That was the beginning of Buhari's administration. I would say that while I commend the government for this, but you see, when you appoint somebody to a position, heading an anti-corruption agency, and you tend to dictate to the person what to do, you cannot accuse that person of not having the political will. You accuse the person that appointed him of not having the political will. The president has come under a lot of criticism, and he has to be seen to be working. But the problem is that corruption is so generic in the sense that it's in every aspect of our society now in Nigeria. Didn't you hear about, what is the name of that lady man that everybody was talking about? He was supposed to be in prison, but we got evidence that he was in an apartment.
Living large.
That is Bobrisky, right?
Yes.
Yes. He was supposed to be in prison. So that's corruption in prison. I've been to a prison to see a client at Aushi, and I saw the Minister of Interior then, during Buhari's administration, saying that they have renovated all the prison, and including the prison in Aushi. And I was there. I was seeing it on TV. It's as bad as that. So the corruption is everywhere. So is it that, sorry, with due respect to the media, is it not possible for them to go there or go around and confirm what the minister is saying? But they will just come for a conference, and then we don't want to go into what happens. They say whatever the minister wants them to say. So corruption is everywhere, and I'm afraid that it's trying to defeat us. It's so difficult to fight corruption. Every person must be involved in the fight against corruption. From the family, somebody is so rich, you are clapping for the person. The society is giving the person chieftaincy title. Nobody seems to ask, how did he become rich? Look at what's the name of that notorious kidnapper somewhere in Benue that shot, soldiers shot policemen who came to arrest him when he shouted that. We heard that soldiers were involved in protecting him. Yeah. What happened? The particular captain that was accused is promoted to a major. So here, corruption is rewarded. So the fact that they have picked those 2-3 ministers, they are not enough. Like my colleague rightly said, move into the party and your sins are forgiven.
But these are members of the APC.
Yes, but you see, the fact that they have taken 3 ministers, for example, why will it take another administration to investigate the former governor Senior? And so many things were exposed. Why? If it is institutionalized, if I am appointed the chairman of EFCC, I do my job the way I'm supposed to do it. But that's not what we have here. With due respect to my colleague on the other side, I was talking on the phone. What's his name? Mr.
Bagaji.
He's a victim from his own narrative of attempt to fight corruption. So if you say you don't want to join them, assuming without considering that what he has said is true, because I don't know the details, if you say you want to fight corruption, they will deal with you. But to some extent, Ribadu fought corruption. But again, we cannot say it was not influenced. Obasanjo definitely was going after some persons who are not in line with his policies. So while I appreciate the fact that the inaugural chairman of EFCC did well, it is not the agencies alone, like you rightly said, that should be fighting corruption. It's something that everybody should be involved in.
So that leads to the institutional angle.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Mr. Magaji, if I could come to you on this. In all that we've said, we've talked about, people moving from one political party to another, maybe to avoid, being prosecuted. and all that. And we've just landed on the subject matter of the fact that some members of the same political party, ministers, are being prosecuted by, the ruling party where they belong. But yet again, we do see situations where we've also discussed this morning, where this fight almost leads to nowhere in particular. So, in your experience in Kano State and your other life experiences in this matter, what do you think are the real legal hurdles in the fight against corruption?
Okay, just like what the latter gentleman there said, I quite agree with him. Because, you see, 8 days ago, I was arrested in Kano. I was taken to Abuja. And at the point of my arrest, the Attorney General of the state was there. And for 17 hours, nobody told me what I did and why they arrested me. And they come to my chambers, the legal firm. They arrested me there. It is already in Abuja. I was sandwiched between the policemen, and I was paid to Abuja at midnight at this time of entry. And God forbid, had it been were attacked on the road, no, because it is only one vehicle. They use a lot of vehicles to arrest me in Kano. A lot of policemen, very many of them with killers. What I'm trying to say here is that what is my offense? When I reached Abuja, I was approached with a petition written by one of the suspects or one of the accused person that was duly charged before the court. And it is an issue of dialect inlet dry port. And this dialect inlet dry port is not only initiated by the government of Kano State, it was an investigative journalism activities that was done by Premium Times, and which the government got interest, and it exposed a lot of things, and that led to charges. And I was detailed to prosecute the charges. So one of the suspects complained to the post headquarters or to the inspector of police that there is a false charges against them, illegal investigation, and what have you. All of this, I've never found them in any of our laws that constitute a crime. But I was arrested, detained, and I have to come with sureties and what have you before I was issued bail. Who is this man that we charge? It is a former governor and former national chairman of the APC, Dr. Abla Umar Ganduji. And the police are trying their best in these two scenarios to make sure that we do not prosecute that case. So what I'm trying to point out is just like what the previous speaker says, it is only when you fall, on the wrong side of the aisle, and that is when perhaps you'll be allowed to face justice. Otherwise, what is the business of the police to investigate a charge that is before the court and which the court has taken cognizance? I personally moved the court to obtain an order of substituted service because we were not allowed to serve him. Police prevented. In fact, the bailiff that come to serve him has to be rescued from the police. He was arrested. So all this thing is going down to, number one, political will. Number two, institutionals. Yes, our institutions supposed to be complementing the fight against corruption and coming down to the institution of anti-corruption, which I happen to be perhaps one of them as subnational. And thank God, as I said, we often become victims as well because there's an adage in Hausa which says which means you cannot be above your height. So all the people that appointed you want is what you are going to do. When I tried to debate from that in 2021 April, I was forced out of that place. I was blackmailed, arrested, imprisoned, and what have you. So I am not justifying what we are accused of, like that we are not going after each and every individual. But I want people, and not only me, I will not speak for my colleagues at the national level, but I know they are passing through the same thing. But what I want people to understand is that it is only called for accountability. Because how do I get my freedom? If not because of the intervention of the media, the civil society, and what I will have been in detention for now. So it is a collective responsibility of each and every Nigerian to come together to realize that this corruption is what is killing this nation, and we have only two choices. It's either we legalize it or we fight it, and fighting it entails putting pressure on government on certain government issues. Just yesterday, the Supreme Court told or rather impliedly, notified the executive that there are certain things that you're not supposed to do, especially when things are before the court. So we need institutions. Obviously, we need institutions of government to be well strengthened to fight against corruption, as well as go after individuals that undermine the fight against corruption, no matter how highly placed they are.
Right. Yeah, I must thank you for those comments. Mr. Oloyede, if I could, come to you, part of the fight against corruption, one of the things that I know was brought in that time was we also employ the whistleblower policy, which we know that is a policy in all other parts of the world. How effective do you think this has been? I think just yesterday I was reading about the fact that Nigeria is trying to revive it because it has actually died down a little bit, and it's not been as effective in the last couple of years than it was when it was first introduced. So how effective has it been in this fight against corruption?
You see, the problem with this country is that whenever laws are made afresh, there's a way some people gather. I mean, that's the impression I have. They decide to undermine the law. They look for ways out of implementation. Like we're talking about all these new tax policy, tax laws and all that. And by January, you are going to begin to see how very ingenuous we are as a people. You see, my last friend was talking about, I'm going to your question. He was talking about what happened to him in Kano State. I call Kano State a state of particular concern when we talk of corruption. Permit me to use those words. State of particular SPC, yes. Yeah, because it's a study in how not to implement anti-corruption laws. I'm happy he actually mentioned names, because you are talking about serious allegations of crime against a former governor. Initially, many of us, like all the people out there, felt, oh, they just want to victimize this man because he's no longer in control of Kano. He's out of there. But we all know what we saw on video here and there. These are slam dunk cases that we should not bother about. Now, you have people working in institutions. The man talking, he was there. We don't even need whistleblowers to identify corrupt individuals. We don't need whistleblowers to investigate them. He said premium times. Even on channels here, a lot of things are said openly like that. That is supposed to ginger those who are in charge of fighting corruption to work. So when they say whistleblower, we need whistleblower, all the whistleblowers of the past, what happened to them? Where are they? You charge people to court, and the person, you see, the court is a lame duck. The court is garbage in, garbage out. Even the EFCC itself needs to be investigated, because if they investigate, they do all these things, and they charge people to court. And when the matter gets to court, there was an instance some years back. The judge is retired now. I keep on alluding to it. They brought this against a former governor of Delta State, I think Ibori, who constructed a whole court premises where he will be tried. Now, when the matter came up, they brought in a lot of things, and maybe 150 charges or 100 charges, something over 100. Ridiculous. It sounded ridiculous. And at the end of it all, everything was thrown out. And there was a lot. I was one of those. How can the judge not find one? This man that we are seeing. And it turned out that by the time you look at the charge sheet, what has been brought before the judge cannot amend for you. There are some charges you bring that is not amenable to amendment. It just has to be thrown out. So when you begin to talk of whistleblowers, the quality of corruption, I'm even qualifying it as something qualitative now. The quality of corruption in this country is such that, no, they are not hiding it. They are doing it as if, yes, what can you do about it?
Exactly.
Nobody is hiding anything. And all the institutions is across board. What my learned friend said is across board. Every facet of human life in Nigeria is either corrupt or corrupted.
So does that mean, Mr. Daniel, that we're jinxed?
No.
Reason I'm asking that is, first of all, it has gone beyond institutions now. It's gone to the level of what Dr. Samademi, for instance, would call the level of culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the level of culture is the most endemic.
Yeah.
That for medication to get there, a lot of surgical work has to be done.
You have to do detox first.
So that is why I'm asking, is it a jinx? Is it something that cannot be dealt with? We have laws. As Mr. Oluyede said, there are laws. And then there are people who are looking, their job is to investigate the loops, bring it out, exploit it, like the US president said he did at some point, of the tax laws. We'll come to that some other time. So is it that we are jinxed, that we cannot take on these issues, or we're just playing dumb?
Corruption itself is institutionalized. Corruption itself in Nigeria, such that, for example, look at the contradictory judgment political cases.
Yes.
That is to us abuse of court process, but it is we, the same lawyers, that help these politicians to go get the judgment. That is just one. I give you an example. There was a case. That's why I don't envy them fighting corruption. I refuse to take that any appointment. I was a very popular right activist, myself and Festus Keyamo. I was the activist, not Keyamo, on campus. Any person that finished from Ekpoma will confirm that to you. Why am I not taking any political position? Why have I? Because you are not independent to do what you are supposed to do. If you don't want to play with them, they will embarrass you, they will deal with you. And I don't want to fall in, become a victim like my friend. So it is so, the EFCC, I am an expert in subsidy. I lectured some policemen on how to investigate subsidy fraud. I was to prosecute the late Ifeanyimba for subsidy fraud. Now, the EFCC, I was doing job prosecuting. Some people came to the court, don't prosecute again, leave that man. They came to me. I was inside the court. They didn't even have the courtesy of saying, can you stop that prosecution or let's stop. Inside the court, before Justice Abang at the Federal High Court. It's as bad as that. And we're to do a good job. The few who are ready to work will be silenced.
Sorry, sir. Who are the they that came into this court?
I have, listen to me. Those who fight and do what? Run away. Live to fight
another day.
Another day. You want me to die? I have a brief recently. This brief will shock you. As lawyers, your brief is confidential. But I was so alarmed and I was afraid for the man that came to talk to me that they might kill him. You won't believe it. So if you say you whistleblower, we have people, we are good at getting intelligence. Are you not seeing that when you send Nigerian police out, they excel for peacekeeping? You send our military out, they excel. What is happening here is that people who want to undermine the system, people who want to continue to strengthen corruption are everywhere.
Okay.
Listen, sorry, please.
Okay.
You know there was a time, either under Babangida or Abacha, he set up a panel, customs, to investigate custom and then clearing agents. Then I was a youth copper at First CID Alago. There is a custom man that was bringing information. So to get intelligence is not difficult. Look at even the corruption is everywhere. It's compounding our security problem.
Okay. Let me ask Mr. Magaji.
Yes.
You know, many times when people are talking about corruption in Nigeria, my mind always goes to the civil service. And the reason is simple. And it's something that we talk about from time to time here at Channels Television. An elected official is there for maximum 8 years. At least that's at the executive level. Senate and then the legislature maybe for longer, multiple 4-year terms, and they can be thrown out at any time. An appointed person is there for 8, maximum 10 years, statutory appointments, maximum 10 years, like the CBN governor and the rest of them. But the civil servant is there for an average of 35 years, 30 to 35 years. And so when a government official, an elected official, you know, is going to get anything done, it's the system that he meets on the ground that he has to align with. He can't sack the permanent secretary, he can redeploy and whatever, but he cannot remove anyone from office. He can't remove the entire staff of an organization simply because he's become a minister or a commissioner or whatever. So how much would you say institutionally that the civil service is insulated from or aiding and abetting corruption?
Very intelligent question.
Well, I quite agree with you based on what I have experienced during my days at the head of anti-corruption agency in Kano State, because we have one case that is a leader or a head of an agency, and the matter is before the court. It's not a platform for me to talk the basis of all the circumstances of the matter, but I'll just give you an example, whereby when we invited the director admin, director of finance, and all the directors, all their answers was that they were asked to sign the document, and which 430 million naira was stolen from Kano State government coffers. And this happens at least 2 months prior to the expiration of the time of that particular person. And when we wrote an invitation to him, he ran away. He only come back to Kano with a court order. God so kind, we were able to finish everything and file charge before he come back with the court order. But what happened to the civil servants? They were detained, and it is only when the commission decided to, release them on bail, that is what nobody comes to them. What I'm trying to point out here is that they are enablers, obviously, and sometimes, just like we rightly pointed out, most of the people that I encountered, they are trying to tell me that they are keeping their jobs. Because if me as an appointed, because the law that empowers the commission under Section 8 says we should not be subjected to the direction and control of any authority. But the authority controls us, as my learned seniors just said, that they will torment you, they will persecute you, and they will extend that to the civil service too. We have very good and robust laws, and just like the law that I spearheaded and imposed in Kano, the anti-corruption law, if you look at Section 9, it said the Commission shall have powers either in its own initiative or filing a complaint laid before it by any other person or any administrative action taken by any other person that is within the civil service of the state or that of the local government, 44 local government of Kano State. So I think we have a system that, if allowed to operate, it will checkmate all this. Because it is not, we have free will, but that is why we have laws, because we turn to go against our free will, because we all know what is right, we all know what is wrong. But at the same time, those are there to guide us that if you do this will happen to you. If you do that, that will happen to you. But if we have robust institutions that will implement the laws without fear or favor, and that will make sure that, like in my own case, when the governor wanted to extend my tenure, because I left my office in 2000 and this June 2025. After 10 years, but at least I want 2 years sabbatical. But it reads because in the court, recognized me as the chairman and even pay me my salary. So it reads in my own tenure. But at the same time, when the governor wanted to extend my tenure, the powers within the system, the current government, refused. Because I was accused of arresting local government chairmen, arresting officials of the government of the day, and that's what most of our political gladiators don't want. Because all what they want is, when you are in the position of anti-corruption fight, you only fight those that are in opposition, just like we rightly fought. I was away in America when one senior official of the government called and tell me that this commission belongs to us, but you are targeting our people. So that's the mindset. Okay. I agree with you that civil servants are enablers. Sometimes the situation and circumstances make them to do so. If, as a governor, you have a political will, or if as a president,
I find that very interesting when you say that the situation or circumstance makes them to do so, because they are employed to do a job, not to steal money or not to aid and abet corruption. So I want to also believe that the system, the civil service, has enough guardrails to checkmate corrupt tendencies or corrupt activities. And when it is not able to do it, that really then begins to get us to ask the question, Mr. Loyede, whether or not our laws, with their teeth, have bite.
Well, as I've said several times here, we have laws that covers every topic under the sun. There's no topic that Nigerian laws don't cover. Even the new ones. I was listening to the chairman of the tax people talking, and they were talking about TI number and all that. And I said, look, all these are subject of laws that have been made previously. They have just repackaged these tax laws. But Nigerians don't pay. They just want to broaden it. Now, the laws have teeth. They cannot bite because laws are meant to be implemented by men. Now, you see, some of us like...
Sorry, sir, they cannot bite or they bite the wrong people.
Well...
You know, because they do bite in some
Well, they do bite in some...
It's not everybody that feels
I agree with that.
Yes.
That's for correcting me. Yes, they bite the wrong people at the wrong time. Now, you have situations where institutions are created and the people who create... He who pays the piper dictates the tune. First of all, the power of appointment. It is not likely that somebody will appoint a man who is likely to confront him on issues of corruption. I'll give an example of another life case because I'm happy that my colleague, it's good to discuss live issues within the bounds of secrecy. Now, we have a situation, for instance, EFCC. You have a situation in a particular state, and some people feel, oh, this person has been corrupt. They write a petition and take it to AFCC within the state, the particular state, and they refuse to investigate. They said they are not touching it because the traditional ruler involved is a big man. He's too big, and he has connections to the highest office in the land. So they refused to accept it, and then they rerouted the petition to EFCC in Abuja, to the chairman, to investigate something that is very local. Now, incidentally, the colleague was discussing the matter with me, and it was a matter that I had been involved in before, where a judgment that was obtained in the 70s or 60s is now being used today to hound people in a given locality. And even the government, the state government then invited the traditional ruler, look, you can't continue harassing people. Some of these people, they got it from federal, this thing, through acquisition in the 60s, before independence. Oil installations, everything, and you are hounding them. And they now said, look, you can't do that. And they said, no, it's our land. And they said, okay, we'll compromise that judgment by paying 3 billion naira. And the state government paid 2 billion naira, leaving 1 billion naira. And the traditional ruler did not stop. Every time there's an economic activity, comes there, stops them. I mean, loss of 300, 500 million at a point at a time. And then what happens? Some people went to court, and the court saw the documents and said, oh, yes, they only paid 2 billion. You have to show that the whole 3 billion has been paid to show that this judgment has been compromised. There's an agreement. I say, okay, government, give me the document I will use to show that you have paid. Or what the agreement. I'm going to say, we can't find it. Civil servants, they couldn't find it. And the judge said, because of that. I mean, there's a compromise. It might not have been paid. And he's still using it to hound people. And then this matter now, this same matter that has been subject of discussion in court, adjudication, everywhere, now goes to EFCC. And it keeps going round and round for generations. People have died over it. How do you begin to situate the paramountcy of the laws of the land? Yes, there are laws. It's not for paucity of laws that we have corruption in Nigeria. The reason why we have corruption is because at the topmost level, there is no political will to execute the laws. Let's not delude ourselves.
Okay. We have to go, but your last words on this
Yes,
matter.
let me quickly say that to some extent there was boldness and will during Obasanjo's time. And then Nuri Badu, I was his PA at Alagbon when I did my youth service. Oh, wow. And I know within that short period, unofficial PA, I know within that short period that he was not corrupt. He fought, the only person that have arrested a life Inspector General of Police, investigated Inspector General of Police. And then the first time I would go to him to say, I have a case, I need your cooperation. He said, remove your hand from that case. That was the Brazilian Hall, where billions of dollars were stolen. They were bringing money to him. They thought they were settling him. And then he was keeping the money as exhibit. Yes. Then the man walked in by himself and said, with his lawyer, they were both arrested by Ribadu. And he said, but we've been bringing him money. He said, they are exhibits. Can we get such persons? Obasanjo, there was a time he set up private investigators, maritime waters. I'm a maritime person. And somebody who was chairman one time of PDP was involved seriously. And when they were reporting, I'm aware of this, the man was there, I don't want to mention his name. And Obasanjo, I've seen him, and was in the presence of everybody. You know how, he said, oh, Lenier, I know why you have come. Because they have said, so we need people like that who will be bold enough to take certain action. Like I must commend the president now for these 3 ministers and one ex-governor that have been...
There are those who will argue and say to you that, hey, the institutions are just doing their jobs. What does it have to do with the president?
It has to do with the president. Why was my colleague removed from Kano district? Because the governor does not want him.
Okay. Well, your last words, Mr. Magaji.
My last word is that I hope those in the position of authority, especially at the topmost level, all my senior colleagues has made the assertion that we need somebody in the position of the president to look at this country, especially in terms of the activities of agencies and institutions of government, to make sure that we have things to be getting right. There's no point of, somebody working online or you employ somebody and that person will go and be compromising issues, especially of national importance, as important as that of corruption. And that person will be doing it with impunity and nobody will accuse the president.
Well, thankfully, those days, we can say that those days are coming to an end, particularly with what you gentlemen have said here today. I don't know if we have really been able to discuss corruption issues like this, since this government came into power. But here we are now talking about it, and let's just hope that this momentum can be sustained, and not just the president, but the governors in the states will also do the needful to gain the trust of the people increasingly. Mohui Magaji, former chairman, Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, thank you so much for your time this morning. We've also had the pleasure of Mr. Tony Daniel, who is a legal practitioner, as well as John Oloyede, also a legal practitioner. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. When we return, it's another issue of concern. My colleague spoke the other time very passionately in language you cannot read in news. But we'll come back to that when we return. Please stay with us.
Stay with us. At the beginning, I was trying so hard and so passionately.
No, actually, you did.
I was proudly, trying to speak my language.
Yes, yes.
Which I do not get to speak ordinarily, except for this time when I get the perfect opportunity.
I wonder why.
But we don't use Yoruba now.
Why not?
And I was saying, I must have said it several times, Omo Fanimi project. Now, I'm not from Kwara State, no, but I enjoyed saying it. And that's where we are. We're here to talk about that project. It's a project to develop, I believe, where we're from. And because we say it all the time, that community development, not everything should be left to government. If we can get people to build our communities, then why not? You do it, and people do it across communities. You do it for your schools, you do it for different things. So that's where we are this morning. We're going to be talking about the Omo Fanimi project created by engineer Kola Balogun. The project was created to unite and empower all of our indigents for the growth and development of the community. Now, its mission is to build a connected and prosperous Offa, where every indigene is recognized and can actively contribute to its shared future. Now, I really don't know how many people live in Offa or how many people come from Offa, but getting everybody, that's a Herculean task.
Well, it's a project.
It's a project anyway. And we have in the studios with us this morning Air Vice Marshal Abdul Ganiyu Olabisi, retired, the Vice Chairman and Member Board of Trustees of the project. And we also have Dr. Taufik Olatinwa, Board of Trustees, member of the Offa Nimi project. So of course, we also have people joining us virtually. We'll get to them when they do. So gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful project and for coming to share it with us in the studio. Let me start with you to my left, right. Right, so tell us, what is this project all about? Why was it created? You know, I did an intro to say why, but you know, give us a bigger picture of why it was necessary.
Thank you very much, Madam, for having us in your studio this morning. Today, we live in a digital world, and the increasing use of the internet continues to shape the technological landscape. As we continue to witness these changes in technology, it is important that communities respond appropriately to keep pace with development. This was the reason why our community leaders some few years back came up with a vision that by the year 2030, Offa will be a digital city. It is in furtherance of this vision that we started the Offa Nimi project under the leadership of engineer Dr. Kola Balogun. The Offa Nimi project is a community-based initiative to establish a population database that will enable every member of the community to have a unique digital identification. Since development is about people, we believe having a robust population database will enable us to have targeted intervention in terms of infrastructural development and provision of social services, that is talking about education, healthcare, and other welfare means. So that is the idea behind it. Now, to establish the database itself, we are partnering with the National Identification Management Commission, because nobody will be given this digital identification without having the national identification number. We don't want to have any conflict with the National Identification Management Commission because they hold all the data for the nation. So what we are doing now is to access their platform, get as the primary source of our data. So anybody that is already on the NIPSI platform is already qualified to get that digital identification. That is not the only way we are partnering with them. We are also going to be an enrollment center. Our secretariat is going to be an enrollment center for people who are yet to be captured, so that we enroll them in our secretariat and forward their information to the National Identification Management Commission, so that we can capture the entire population of the community, because there are people who somehow have not been able to be registered on that platform up till now. So essentially, this is exactly what we are trying to do. Our mandate is to provide a data-driven decision-making platform for the administration of our local government.
Okay. We have a couple of other people. I'll come to you in a moment, Dr. Olatinwa. But we have a couple of other guests joining us on the virtual space, but we'll be bringing them up in a moment. Now, for you, Dr. Olatinwa, who are the stakeholders of this project? Do you have any form of agreement with them?
Yeah, thank you very much. When we're going to start the project, we recognized that this is for the entire community, both for the citizens and the residents of Offa. So the first thing we did was to have a stakeholders consensus agreement And the agreement, we approached the KBC of Offa, or the Offa of Offa, who is the overall paramount leader for Offa, as well as the high chiefs. They are the ones that sign off as the district heads. We approached the Offa Descendants Senior President, representing all the Offa indigenes whom and the diaspora. We also approached the chairman of a local government. They have the legislative capacity to ensure that this moves on very smoothly, as well as all the Asiwaju of and other chiefs in Offa and the community leaders. And they all signed to this agreement to say, yes, this is the way forward in support of the Offa Tuntun mandate that the KBC said, like ABM mentioned earlier on, to make Offa as a smart city by 2030. And this is actually riding on the back of being a self-help community. We established Offa Grammar School, the first community secondary school in the 40s in northern Nigeria, as well as the first innovation hub that is owned by the community, also from Offa. And this is kind of, people understand the terrain. They understand what it means to be innovative. They understand what it means to be the trailblazer, and that's what we've been able to achieve. And just 2 days ago, the bill was passed in the legislative arm of a local government to move ahead with this, and it's part of the bill to say that before you even get the certificate of citizenship or maybe the resident of Offa, you have to register under this platform. Okay. So these are the things that we've been able to cover, and all the stakeholders, they are on board. There
are quite a number of that. There is a critical stakeholder that you have not mentioned, and I'll get back to it. I'll get to it. Maybe I'll take that up with Professor Engineer Nazmat Surajuddin Bakinde, who is the Secretary General and a member of the Board of Trustees of Omo Fanimi Project. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Prof.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Okay, by the way, let me quickly also recognize that we have Alhaji Fatai Owolabi, who is Director General and Board Member as well. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Television, thank you.
Yeah. So, Prof, let me start with you. I was just asking Dr. Olatinwo about the stakeholders, and I said to him, rather, on behalf of that particular demography, I'm attacking him and saying that he has not carried the young people along by not calling us stakeholders. I like you to speak to that. How are we getting them on board? Because when we are talking about the digital space, that is their play field. We are immigrants into it. They are natives. They're digital natives. They are. So how are we, factoring in the young generation, particularly the young indigenes of Offa or residents on this project?
All indigenes are carried along, indigenes and residents of Offa. When this project started, as was introduced by the moderator, by Engineer Kola Balogun, we tried to key into this autonomy that was granted to all of our local governments in Nigeria. And we want to ensure that we are able to digitalize our data. Because the local governments have been hindered by so many challenges, inefficiencies and inadequacies. But when you have a digital platform where we can have all our data, information, and decisions are taken based on real-time data, it enhances, improves public services, and it promotes governance at the local government level. For the youth, they are carried along. We have Offa Student Union, which is a body for all students within Offa, both home and abroad, just like we have Offa Descendant Union for all adults, home and abroad. All those people are stakeholders, and there was what we called elite consensus that was signed at the initial stage of this project. It started with the Olofa of Offa and his high chief councils, and then the local government authority itself, and then the executives of Offa Descendant Union were carried along. So also were the Offa Student Union, because we know we cannot do this without them. them carried along. We are working together. We have them on our team. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Alhaji Olabi, you are the Director General, pretty much saying that you are the one that runs the show. What's been the acceptance? Because, you know, initiatives, especially the ones that are new, that are innovative, there are those who would, their natural default position would be to resist and say, what's this, where is this going, and all of that. What's been the trajectory for you as concerning how what the takeoff has been? How is it being accepted by everyone in the community? What's been the reception like?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Channel Television. Let me first of all give kudos to Channel Television for promoting innovation and community development. We are proud to have your support for introducing this Offa Pandemic project. As a matter of fact, I think at the end of the day, Channel Television will be giving an international award for this innovation. Anyway, just let me go back to your question, sir. I should have to tell you that you see, the issue of stakeholders that prompted this project precisely is the Offa Pandemic. Let me simply first of all introduce Offa Pandemic Development Union. It operates, you know, it operates in it's an incorporated trustee of an organization that is non-governmental, non-profit oriented company, and of course non-political. It comprises of intellectuals, professionals in science, technology, and innovation, headed by Dr. Engineer Kola Balogun. Now, going back to your question, stakeholders too, I want to draw your attention to the amalgamation of Nigeria as a nation. Because we learned a lot from the failure of Nigeria, and that's why we went into stakeholders potential agreement. Nigeria, at the point of coming together, did not have any document of this nature. They just came together without having any agreement. And that's where we have, 25 years ago now, that's where we are still where we are today. So with this union, it is so deep that we should have a kind of stakeholders consensual agreement which involves our local Offa, the Offa of Offa, and its council members. It involves Offa, the Central Union, which comprises of all social associations in Offa, including the student union, market women, and all, you know. So it comprises of a government itself, which is the government of the day. So, stakeholders. This is why we need to bring up
the question I'm asking, sir, and I was hoping that you would get there. The question I'm asking is, what's been the reception? What's the reception like? How are the people receiving it? What are the people looking forward to about the project?
It was welcome with every Gordon community member.
Okay.
Has accepted this program with all pleasure.
Okay.
And they are just impatiently waiting for the program to take off, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful. So
ask him.
Exactly, you know, AVM Olabisi, that reception is important. How the people are receiving it, how they have received it, how they are embracing it, and what are the things that you would expect the people to do more of?
Thank you very much. I think the people are actually excited about this idea of Offa Pandemic project. We mentioned that there was this important document, the Elite Consensus Agreement. There was a delegation that went to the Offa in December last year, even before we started anything, to solicit the support of the community, because we knew without the support of the community, we were going nowhere. So it was the Offa and his council of chiefs that now called a meeting of all the eminent personalities and other stakeholders in the community and sold the idea to them. And it was after that that this document, a lead consensus agreement, because everybody had to sign onto the project, that we are with you and we are going to support this initiative. So it was after we got that consensus agreement from the community that we could proceed with what we were doing, that we actually started. So we did not just start on our own without consultation with the community. And the level of acceptance, I must tell you, is quite impressive, very good.
Right, right. Dr. Olatimer, if I may ask, I mean, this probably would not be the first such initiative that is being presented to the Offa people.
That's right.
And, you know, how is this different from other initiatives that have been brought on board by, you know, many other groups from Offa people?
Okay, so very interesting question, and I'm looking at it from the broad perspective that Offa is always, you know, well known for innovative ideas. We are trailblazers in terms of, you know, what we do for the community. So we've got the One Innovation Hub, which is one stands for Offa and environs. So we don't do things just for Offa. That's one, an initiative that was done about 5 years ago. We even came to the studio to talk about it here. We also have the mandates to make Offa as a smart city. We had a retreat last year, just you know, some few months ago, around how to develop Offa further economically and things like that. And we now came up with the concept that we should have a digital strategy, a plan, a roadmap for Offa to get there. And when we talked to all the stakeholders, they said that this particular project that we are doing, Omofanimi, capturing the database for all of our indigenes and residents, stands like almost 50% of what we are talking about when we want to digitalize Offa as a community, as a local government. And this is also riding on the back of the autonomy that Mr. President passed, and they passed into law last year to say the local government will have their autonomy. So when we look at it overall, what we are doing, working with NIMC, the National Identity Management Commission, and even the financial institutions, it's like bringing a new dimension to the way we are managing our community, we are managing our people. So coming back to acceptability, we had a meeting 2 days ago with the entire local government, and some of the communities that are around us, they said they would like to be part of this. How do we co-opt them into this? That's to show how much people really love what we're doing now and how much we're laying the foundation for the future for our people and for other initiatives to be on top of it. Like we having a very good footprint, tapping into all the available resources for community development and to showcase to other local governments in Nigeria. So out of the 774, Offa is number 1. And we want to be able to showcase to the remaining 773 to follow. We are willing to help and to support them as well.
Okay. Yeah, so Prof. Surajuddin, back in day, if I could come to you there. I don't know how many of you live in Offa that are here with us presently, but there's this thing about, you know, people migrating from so-called you know, communities to maybe bigger cities, let me put it that way. Maybe in Kwara, you will say they're going to Ilorin or something. I don't know how much bigger, you know, because Ilorin is the capital. People move to Lagos, people move to Ibadan and all that. So I want to believe, who are you doing this for essentially? Is it primarily for the people who presently reside in Offa, or for the people who reside outside of the community, for them to also feel like they belong? Who is this primarily for?
Thank you very much for that question. Omo Ofanimi, which means I am a child of Offa, is a project for all Offa indigenes and residents, all indigenes home and abroad, wherever you are living, wherever you are across the globe. This project is for them. It's not limited to just those that are indigenes and are resident in Offa. It's for both indigenes within and outside the country and residents within the town. Thank you.
Right. So what? Sorry. I mean, what benefits will this be? Apart from the digital hub that's trying to implement? I know there's a building that's going to be commissioned later this month, the Secretariat building. Are we going to be seeing this project drawing people, from abroad to, for yearly festivals that we see other communities, engage in, maybe all those Ojudioba stuff and all that and other things? Do we have plans for that, for getting people from Offa to come back home at a certain point in the year to celebrate as Offa, so to speak, for lack of a better way to describe it?
Yeah, thank you very much. This particular project holds the potential for a lot of benefits for the community. What you see in Nigeria today, we are confronted with a myriad of problems. And one of the steps we are taking now is to make sure that we have targeted intervention to make sure that the community develops. Now, one of the critical benefits we are looking at is education. How do we improve the educational system? Because we want to make sure we have a problem of out-of-school children in Nigeria. We don't want to have that problem in Offa. And we believe with this database we are creating, it will give us an idea of where we are currently on the issue of education. One of our plans is that all our schools should be digital schools. And this will involve the support of the government as well as many individuals from the community. We have a lot of graduates who have left university, they don't have jobs. There are opportunities for skill acquisition to make sure that these people are skilled. Because one of the things driving mass poverty in Nigeria is lack of education and lack of skill. So we believe if we are able to address these two issues, it will go a long way in reducing poverty in our society. Traditionally, every December is like a carnival in Offa. Right. People from wherever they are come home. You see, most marriages are usually planned for this period because most people come home for festivities, for celebration and all of that. So but we believe this can still be taken a step further with what we are trying to do now, because there are going to be a lot of other developments that will encourage tourism to Offa, so that people who are in the diaspora, when they are coming, can even bring their friends to come and see Nigeria. So that is part of what we are planning for the community. So
I'm assuming, from what EVM said, if people have weddings in December, that means you must have a lot of people born in September in Offa. But that's another matter. You didn't hear what he said. Prof heard it. Yeah. Prof, you heard me. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. I want to ask you this. What's the involvement of financial institutions, and how are you also integrating the legislative arm of the local governments?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to take the financial institution first. We recognize that we're looking at having this database not just for collecting names and numbers, but also to use it to develop Offa further, infrastructural projects and things like that. And we recognize that we need the backings of the financial institutions to do this. So what we've been talking to some very prominent, perhaps one of the biggest banks in Nigeria, as well as a card insurance company, to partner with us. We've signed the agreement. We're integrating our systems in the back end now. And essentially, what this means is we'll be generating income, revenues from them that we'll put into our projects, infrastructure projects. And this is one of the key things that we realize that we need to do. So we're doing co-branding of the ID card. It's not just going to be an ID card, but also for financial transactions and other things that we're going to be doing together. So that's on one hand. With respect to the legislative arm, we've gone through the chairman of a local government to pass an executive bill to make this as part of the process for them to give out citizenship certificates for anybody coming from Offa. And this is not forcing people, but it is something that we need to do collectively. And based on the level of acceptance of these, we're getting like 100% of acceptance, and we even going to be helping NIMSI to drive the registration of the NIN, which is also supporting the federal government.
How many people are you targeting to bring it under the NIMC bracket with this?
We're looking at about over 500,000 people.
Okay. Now, Prof, let me ask you this. By the way, first of all, has this project been commissioned? If not, when is the commissioning?
No, it's not been commissioned yet. It's been planned for the 28th of December. Like my vice chairman said, AVM Olabisi, you know, this issue of having festival that comes up in Offa every year, we call it Ijakadi. So this our commissioning is actually part of the Ijakadi program for this year. It's scheduled for the 28th of December, 2025. The commissioning, the building, the secretariat is already built, equipped with modern day equipment that will enable us to carry out enrollment, capturing and others, and have a solar backup for us to be able to do the work 24/7 if need be.
So everyone is coming in December, and I have to emphasize what AVM said about weddings happening in December.
Yes, very true. Even one is happening from my head also this December.
In December.
So he is very correct.
So by September, anyway. So, okay. So AVM, let me ask you as we close out this conversation. I'll go around the room for this one. Where do you see this Offa Anime project in the next 5 years?
This is a project for the future. Actually, we have our young ones at the center of the program. And what we are trying to do is actually to give impetus to this federal government policy of local government autonomy direct funding. Because the people now will use this as a basis for setting agenda for the local government so that we can identify our priority projects. And you see, we also believe this program will help to change the mentality of Nigerians in the way we participate in community development initiatives. You see somebody living in Lagos, has his business in Lagos, but he does not see himself as part of the Lagos community or the Offa community by contributing to the development of that community. Rather, he will go back to his village where he spends maybe barely 2 weeks in a year and builds large hospitals, big schools there. Meanwhile, his family and children live here. But by the Offa Anime project, it's a bold assertion that whether you are residents or indigenes, you are all Offa indigenes, and you should identify with the community and contribute to the development of that community, so that all of us together can benefit from the development and progress of the community. So regardless of where you come from, once you have that Offa Anime identification, you are as good as any indigene from the community.
Okay, Alhaji Olabi, where do you see this project in the next 5 years?
There is this acronym that says Offa will become a smart city by the year 2030. So in the next 5 years from now, we hope to see our primary schools going smart. A place where when a child leaves his parents owe me the money, they get to the school. When they get to the school, the parents can be sure that the child is at school by the clocking inside.
Okay.
Because they are all going digital. And by the time he leaves the school in the afternoon, the parents knows when the child has left the school. He is expecting that child within the specific time from the school to the house.
All right.
And they're not, yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Prof, where do you see this project in the next 5 years?
Well, in the next 5 years, I see this project taking Offa to the next level. Offa is a town that has different other communities around. You know, when we mentioned about signing a consensus with the Olofa of Offa and his high chief councils, and also the neighboring communities were carried along. In the next 5 years, I see this project assisting with the elderly, the downtrodden who cannot afford to pay for their education, those who have some healthcare issues and could not afford to treat, will have means of taking care of that. in the next 5 years, like Elijah Wolabi said, we want to have a smart offer, that we have our processes being digitalized.
Okay.
And then we have data-driven decision will be taken by the local government authority to be able to assist Offa in the development, to have a prosperous community.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Latiwo.
Yeah, very quickly, to build on what they've all said, I see these as also helping to reduce devices in the community, security issues, safety issues. These are the things that we believe the Mofanimi would help in kind of eliminating from society. Also, we're supporting the federal government, so we want Offa to be the first community to have 100% of registration of NIN in Nigeria, and these would help with proper poverty reduction and all the key things that the government is trying to work on: humanitarian services and the like, community development, infrastructural development, and everywhere being like, you know, having all the bells and whistles.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you to talk about this, I must dare say, important project to Offa people. AVM Abdul Ganiyu Olabisi, retired Vice Chairman and member of the Board of Trustees on Mofanimi Project. Thank you so much for joining us today. Dr. Taufik Olatinwo, also Board of Trustees member. Thank you so much for talking about this. And of course, virtually we had Professor Nazmat Surajuddin Bakinde, Secretary General and Board of Trustees member, as well as Alhaji Fatai Owolabi, Director General and Board of Trustees member. Thank you all for joining us this morning. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much for staying with us on this program, Sunrise. Oh, by the way, let me remind you, today is December 13th. Yeah, just saying. Oh, by the way, it happens to be Nyesom Wike's birthday today.
Oh, wow.
So the president says it's one of the shining stars of his government. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I know that our guests will also be doing the same, but who are we speaking with? It's someone a good number of us know, and he's written a book announcing the release of his memoir, How Depression Saved My Life. Now, we know, I have seen the book, yellow covered, announced in March this year, tells an extraordinary story of pain, purpose and transformation, traces 10 years of his life from the dizzying professional highs of running major presidential campaigns to the depths of depression, and finally to building one of Africa's most influential storytelling platforms. Please welcome Chude Jidonwo, media entrepreneur and host with Chude. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, how does the interviewer feel
to be interviewed?
This year it has taken some getting used to. But you know, I think I'm getting in the groove of it now.
Right.
Yeah.
But really, how does it feel?
Right. It feels uncomfortable. It felt uncomfortable at first.
It will dig it out of you.
You know, I know that you've put a lot in the memoir and you don't want to let too much out so we can get the memoir and actually sit down and read.
Yes.
Some of us we don't like reading, so we'll wait for the movie version.
Yes.
But okay, you have just confirmed that there's going to be a movie.
Yes, actually, there's a video book coming out.
Oh, really? Oh, it's a video book. Okay,
Yes.
Okay,
great.
So tell us this story in brief, in a way that people who may be dancing around the same highs and lows can begin to take caution.
Yeah.
Right. I think in summary, it's about the fact that no matter how good things are on an objective level, on a material level, money, fame, you know, marriage, titles, position, that if we don't take care of our hearts and our minds, our emotions, our mental health, like the kids call it today, our spiritual health, that all of those things are not enough to make us happy. That's the first summary of the book. So it uses my life story over a 10-year period to show how everything can objectively be going well. You know, people can be admiring you, envying you, wanting to be like you. Your Instagram page can be brilliant, beautiful, colorful, and your private emotional life is falling apart. That's the first thing. The second thing is about adversity. We grew up in a culture that misinterprets adversity. When somebody says, I always joke that one of the famous songs written by one of my mentors, Today, it says, the original song says, no matter what I face, when trouble comes my way, Nigerians refuse that. Nigerians changed it to
whatever.
When blessings come my way. Yes. But the original song was to say, look, even if you are in trouble, you can trust in God. So the way we react
because troubles will come.
I say to people, I say, if you're a Christian, then Jesus, who you follow, made it a promise. He said, in this life you will have trouble. So you cannot reject it in Jesus' name, because the person you are rejecting it in his name said it will happen.
That's word. Word.
So it's that way. It's like, but what do you do when trouble comes? How do you hold yourself?
He's not even going to, I'm sorry to break, he's not even going to take you out of the trouble.
No.
I will be with you
in the fire, yes.
In that trouble,
yes.
I will be there.
So how do you keep your calm? How do you ensure that you don't make bad things worse by the way you react to them? How do you react to them in a way that doesn't destroy and shatter your spirit? That's the second thing that the book is trying to teach.
Okay. It's a high to be part of a presidential campaign.
Yeah, 3 at the time, actually.
3 campaigns.
Yes.
It's a high.
Yeah.
Gosh. Which one? Which one is better than? I've never tried cocaine or any of those things, but it's quite a high to be part of something and everyone is seeing your principle. It's quite a high. Did you see any other thing at that time other than the high?
That's a very great question. Did I see it? I think yes. I think 2 things can happen at the same time. I share in the book that I described my December 2014. December 2014, I was 29. And I'd written my book then, I read The Turning Point Generation. And in December, on Friday, I was in Denmark speaking at an event, keynote speech for writers. On Saturday, I was at TEDx Houston with Kemi Badenoch and others speaking. On Sunday, I was at the Future of West Africa, which I'm a co-founder of, and I was on stage giving my founder's speech. And in the hall were General Muhammadu Buhari, 4 governors, Ashad, Diban, Jemi Alade. So I paint a picture of how high profile that weekend was. 2 days after, I checked into a hotel in Lagos because I was deeply sad. So it doesn't remove the happiness I felt when I was on stage 2 days before. I was happy on stage 2 days before because I was experiencing a professional high. But at the same time, I was dealing with a personal low. And those 2 things can coexist at the same time.
So how does that happen? Because prove me wrong, but I think there has to be a trigger for every such experience.
Yes.
What triggered, I can tell what triggers the high. But what is it that could bring that such a deep depth of low?
Well, 2 things broadly. One was I was working so hard that I wasn't spending any time with my spirit, by which I mean there was no breaks. There was no spending time with family. There was no doing anything else but trying to achieve the next thing. So in between, you have to breathe. You have to check in with yourself. You have to rest. Not just rest by sleep, deep rest. Like you rest in a way that you are satisfied in yourself. So I didn't have that. I was trying to go the next thing, the highest thing, the bigger thing. That was one. On the second hand, and people have to read the book to see this, I was going through an emotional trouble that was triggered by my childhood. Yeah. And so that meant that no matter what was happening around me, because I had this childhood wound, until I confronted it, it continued to make me feel inadequate. Like something happens to you. Let's give an example. If you were sexually abused as a young woman, if you don't heal on that, no matter what you achieve, you will be high achieving whatever, but that trauma can continue to steal from your happiness. So these were the 2 things that was happening at the same time. This childhood trauma That's why you succeed, but you still feel like there's something missing. You keep feeling like there's something missing. And a lot of people feel it. You know, people feel like there's something that when they achieve something, that thing will not be missing. When they make 1 million naira, then they make 1 million naira, like, okay, maybe it's not 1 million, especially in our economy where 1 million quickly becomes $250. When they make 2 million, when they buy a new car, when we buy a new house, when we go on stage, when we speak in America, we keep thinking that something will happen that will make us happy. And that thing never comes because happiness is an inside job. Happiness can come without you achieving anything. So those two things, broadly, were things that were making me unhappy. So after I go on the high, and that's why people take cocaine, that's why people get addicted to sex, because so when I'm on stage, at that time I'm on a high. When you come back to yourself. Yeah. You want another high because you don't like coming back to yourself. So you go on another stage. That's why people are addicted to social media. You post one controversy, you are trending on the blogs, you get a high, you're in the middle of conversation, you go back home, you are lonely. You want some action again, you go out. It's that cycle that many of us are on. That's why I wake up in the morning and the first thing we pick is our phone.
Right. And you know, it's one thing to go through that. A lot of people do not like to talk about it, and it's a good thing that you're able to share that part of yourself. But how was it really sitting down and actually putting it in a book and writing and reliving a lot of these things? How was that experience for you?
Two things. Writing it was difficult because, yes, you're right. And before I wrote it, I mean, the depression happened in 2016. And anytime people ask me to describe depression for a few years, I wouldn't, because it would make me want to cry. And so writing this book meant going inside, explaining depression. It was incredibly tough. But then when I finished, I felt like it healed me again. That's why I knew that the book was going to change people's lives, because when I finished, I thought, this depression has really taught me about life. And I write in the book, I say, depression is the worst thing that ever happened to me, but it's the best thing, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But if God or the universe asked me to go back and do it again, I would.
But there have to be some things you will change.
Yeah.
I don't know. You see, everything that we go through in life, there's nothing. So President Obasanjo would not have been 3-time president if he hadn't gone to prison. Yeah. Father Kuka would not be an icon if he hadn't been persecuted by Abacha. Wole Soyinka would not be an icon. And I'm not comparing myself with these people, I'm just giving an example. Wole Soyinka would not be an icon if he hadn't been locked and written the man died. So I don't know, in our lives, our adversities are the things that celebrate our growth. So I don't know that because I know that trouble will come in this life. I can't go back and say, don't give me that trouble, because I see but it doesn't reduce the pain of the trouble.
I'm going to say that again. Because, you know, there are times we have said something like, now I know better.
Yes. Yes.
You must have either asked a question or been asked or heard it said, okay, what would you say to your younger self?
Yeah.
In the course of this week, it was on Wednesday specifically, a broadcast, young lady was asking me, what would I say to my younger self? I don't remember what I said, but I must have said something like, I'll do the same thing. Because like you, faith has always been, core in, who I am. But to experience a high and then come to the low and learn lessons suggests that you may want to review.
Right. Okay, I get that now.
Yes.
Yes, obviously a few things I would change. I mean, a few things I have already changed. Number one is I joke with people that when I resigned as CEO of Red Media, that Christmas, the gifts I normally get at the end of the year reduced by 75%. And so I learned that people were not loyal to me, they were loyal to the opposition. Yes. And I remember I interviewed Dr. Abati, and he said when he left the presidency, the phone stopped ringing. He had to use one phone to call the other phone to be sure, is there something wrong with my phone? So one of the things I learned was not to depend on external things for my well-being. Not to depend on the adulation of the crowd, not to depend on popularity, not to depend on money. I began to consciously build deep relationships with my family and my friends. which is incidentally one of the strongest things. That's why we don't have a depression crisis in Africa. We should. Economy is bad. Politics is corrupt. But because we have strong family bonds, strong social bonds, strong community bonds, it immunizes us from collapsing into depression. So that's one of the things I learned, that I should have, you know, when you have your mother, you take your mother for granted, take your father for granted, you always see them, you always have them. You don't spend enough time, well, I didn't spend enough time with my mother. After that, I began to spend more time with my mother, with my family. I began to take church seriously, and not just church, whether religion, whatever centers you as a human being. I began to be more active because I realized those things are the things that hold you when everything else falls apart. So those two were important. The other thing is that I realized if I was going to talk to my younger self, I'll tell my younger self that there's nothing missing that you are going to look for outside. There's something Jay Z says, there is love at home, there is food at home. If you realize, and you know, when I tell people about happiness, what the research says in the book, when I tell people that, when they say poor people, you cannot be happy unless you have money, I say to them, but you can love if you don't have money. You can trust your sister if you don't have money. You can love your son if you don't have money. They are all emotions. Why do you think that you cannot be happy if you don't have money? You know, and that's also something that I learned.
Maybe because money is not emotion.
No, but happiness is an emotion. So we always tie the wrong. So I learned that there was that happiness I was looking for was already available to me in the moment.
Well, you know, you also know that today, we'll come to, you know, some of the things that helped you. You talked about therapy, faith, and storytelling. But you know that today's young are still inundated by the same things that you escaped. I use the word escape. They're still inundated with the visuals that it gives, the highs, you know, that it gives. Is there a path back for them before they get to where you got?
Yes, thank you for that question. I say, I feel so sorry for young people today. I feel, because they don't, it's not their fault. Like they were born into social media. It's not their fault. They don't even, and they don't understand how damaging social media is. They can't, they don't. You know, when you look at the research about unhappiness and depression, Australia just banned, I hear, social media for its young people, and it is too late.
16 years and
16 years and above, because for about 10 to 15 years, we've known, no, about 10 years, we've known that social media and the excessive use of technology is behind the increase in teenage suicides globally. It's behind the increase in anxiety and depression for young girls under 20. We've known for years. The research has been conclusive on that. But to say people, governments and institutions and individuals didn't know how to navigate it. Because what it does is, so there's a research that was done by the London School of Economics in 1990. So what led to the increase in unhappiness in a 10-year period? Say social comparison, and this is how they explained it. When there was only TV, if you want to compare yourself with somebody else, you compare yourself with somebody in Los Angeles, you compare yourself with somebody when the TV comes on at 4 o'clock. From 6 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you're by yourself. Now, when you wake up in the morning, you compare yourself with 1 million people across the world. So the accelerated impact on your emotions is heavier than at any time in history. You compare yourself with somebody in America, in Japan, in the EU, you compare yourself across over 1,000 TV stations, over 1,000 radio stations, and over 6 to 10 social media channels. The impact is heavy. The first thing is that people need to ration their use of social media. The same way, social media is going to end up being treated like we treated alcohol and cigarettes once we have a consensus about the damage. It's not that there's nothing wrong with social media. It's just like eating too much burger. If you eat too much burger, it affects your blood sugar, it affects your blood pressure, it affects your cholesterol. It's the same thing with social media. By itself, it's a good thing if you know how to use it. But once it becomes excessive, it takes over your mind. I say to people, I write that in the book, one day I woke up and I was trending for 3 days because of a political thing I had done. And I was so foolish then that when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I would do is to pick up my phone before I have prayed, before I have checked in on myself, before I have even just what is happening in the world. So our first thing is we need to drastically discipline our use of social media because it's the #1 trigger of social comparison and ultimately unhappiness. The second thing is that we need to spend more time doing the things that feed our mental and emotional health. So I tell them to do something called, I do a joy retreat every year for people and teach them some of these things. And I tell them to do something called the joy pillar. I say, just simple paper, take a paper, Put on the left the things that increase your happiness on a daily basis without causing you damage. Put on the right the things that reduce your happiness on a daily basis without causing you damage. And mostly let them be things that money cannot buy.
Yeah.
So let it be things like spending time with your child. You know, let it be things like walking down your street if you live in a safe area. Let that be things like being a church worker, being a mosque worker. Let that be things like going to the temple. So if you arrange your life consciously around the things that give you joy, you will automatically reduce the things that steal joy from you.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Take us through this. In what order do they come? You write about the importance of therapy, faith, and storytelling in your healing.
Right.
In what order do they come?
That's a very... I forgot I was coming to sunrise. In the order, I think that I will put faith first. You know, there was a time everybody was saying, oh, young people are moving away from religion, you know, and like it happens every 100 years. Every 100 years, young people will think they can move away from religion, then they will go into the world, they will see trouble.
And they run back.
Come back.
They run back. If you look at Nigeria's top podcasts, over 25% of them are religious podcasts, Christian and Muslim. I think one of the top 3 or top 5 are Joshua Selman. If you look at the top musicians in the country in terms of streams, and in the continent, in Nigeria, and Ghana, and Kenya, it's all gospel artists, you know. The biggest congregations on live social media, either a prayer session or a challenge. So young people came back to faith because we are made to believe in something bigger than ourselves. And that, so there's a mystic in India called Sadhguru, and he says there's something about the human spirit. I always tell people, I tell my retreat people this December, I say, has any of you ever gone in front of an ocean and not felt something? Like you're standing in front of the ocean, you feel peace, you feel awe, you feel like, oh, this world is so big. I'm like, that thing is our spirit. That is something that we cannot describe, that was put in us. Like, it happens, I say when you wake up in the morning, many of us, when we wake up in the morning, usually, we are happy. Then we remember our problems. When thought comes, before the thought comes in, there is a space of peace.
Yeah.
I said, that place is your spirit. This is not anything religious, it's just a fact. Check it in your life. And I said, that thing has to be fed. That thing that brings happiness organically into your life. Yeah. You have to feed it, and it's not physical, it's not material. You cannot hold it with your hands.
Possibly that's why they say don't go to bed angry, or don't go to bed with unresolved issues.
Yes.
You know, so that you wake up free.
Yes.
Your mind is free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's where faith is, and I differentiate faith from religion. I say religion enables faith, but faith is a belief in something holding us that is beyond what we can see. If anybody is in touch with that constantly, it often brings automatic joy. Then therapy is not necessary. What therapy does is help us do the self-work we are supposed to do to find joy. So what the therapist does is help you look at your life and audit your life and say, what are the things making me unhappy? Where did they come from? What can I do about it? That's what therapy is. So if you are able to do that work for yourself, if you are not so disabled emotionally that you can do that work for yourself, then you don't need therapy. I did therapy because at the time I didn't know any of these things that I know now. And so the therapist was a professional who helped me. And then after a few months, she said to me, it doesn't happen for most people, that I could continue the journey by myself. So that's what therapy did. But faith and how storytelling happened was that many of the things that helped me, and that's why my show started, were videos that I was just watching on YouTube about depression, about unhappiness, about does money make you happy, why is success not making me happy. And I stumbled upon a lot of videos from Oprah, you know, and especially on Oprah Super Soul Sunday, which is a spiritual show that strengthened my spirit. So I say to people, there's so many free resources available on Substack, on Medium, on TV, on YouTube. Stop consuming the useless things. There's so much.
Especially now, you check what the top searches in Nigeria today. Not one person is searching employment opportunity or credit with Nigeria or anything or mortgage opportunities. We're searching for, let me not even go there. Well, What does this book look like? Just so that the person watching...
Right. Okay, so which camera should I face it?
No, just hold it like that.
So this is it. It's How Depression Saved My Life. Is a memoir.
Okay.
It tells the story of, and then my dear friend, Professor Laurie Santos, they call her the Professor of Happiness at Yale, says this book will help you find your path to purpose. So it's a memoir. It tells the story of my life from 2014 to 2024.
Wow.
And then the depression that happened in 2016, and that ultimately led me to start my show with Chude in 2020.
Well, I know that you'll be able to see this this particular conversation again on YouTube after it. But thank you so much.
Good use of social media. Good use of social media.
Good use of social media. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Coming to Sunrise is always a homecoming. And I'm always so grateful to Chairman, Mr. John Momo, for just being one of my greatest cheerleaders in my life from when I was 19 till date. And then everybody here has been so supportive. I don't take it for granted.
So you are the child that the two of them had that we didn't know.
Yes, it is me.
Chude Jidowo, media entrepreneur and host with Chude. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, there is something that makes some people happy, and that is shopping.
Shopping. We can now go there. Shopaholics.
We'll be right back.
Right, welcome back, everyone. Ayo does not want to go to the market just yet, so he'll join me a little bit later. But yes, we are going to the market, a special one at that, I must say. We're traveling all the way to River State, where the Christmas market, a discount market, I must add, has been opened, runs from 5th to 15th of December. The River State Government Christmas Discount Market is an annual trade fair, and it aims to help residents ease the cost of living during the festive season by offering a wide range of goods at discounted prices. Items available from various vendors include food, clothing, fashion accessories, kiddies wares, household goods, interior decor, everything that everybody needs. Christmas gifts as well, because it's just before Christmas. Unique treasures, books, educational materials, health services such as insurance, enrollment, blood pressure checks, blood sugar, all sorts of things, and it's for the benefit of the people. This market is usually organized by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. That's where we're starting from. Our guests are joining us virtually. John Ngubo Otamiri, River State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, as well as Reginald Spurgeon, River State Discount Market Coordinator. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, I understand the commissioner is not around yet, so we have Reginald Spurgeon, who's the coordinator of the River State Discount Market. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Right, so tell us, you know, I've said so much about what this is about, but really and truly, tell us all about the discount market and why it was created in the first place.
Okay. The administration of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of River State, Taskunala Ifobra, his commitment in easing the high cost of living, you understand, in the midst of the economic hardship, thought it wise to set up this market at this very point where we are approaching the seasonal period, where every family needs one place or the other to be able to have a better Christmas. Yeah, the governor thought it wise to set up this market to ease the hardship for Rivers people. That's why we're here again this year, to ensure that people residing in River States and neighboring states come here to get good at affordable prices. So that's the idea of this market.
And, you know, how do you, how do I put it now? How do you ensure compliance with the fact that it's a discounted market? What does the government do, I mean, to get the traders, to be able to sell their goods at a discounted figure?
Thank you. First, we'll call it River State Christmas Discount Market. First, the goods here were not subsidized. Rather, we go to the manufacturers, the producers, the wholesalers, get them from their companies, create a pavilion here, bring them in, give them spaces for free, so that they could sell at the cost of their company price to the consumers. So we bring the consumer close to the manufacturers, and the items are being sold at discounted rate. Having said that, before this time, like a week before the ticket market kickoff, we'll set up a committee with other subcommittees. Some of them are price management committees, so emergency, and so on. So their duties were to go to the market, check the cost of items in the market, goods and commodities in the market, get the facts right and prices. Then when the market starts, we'll have what we call market guard and surveillance team. They go around pretending as customers to the vendors to check if they are complying with the idea of the governor. And so far, this is the 9th day, and we have 100% compliance with the vendors and the customers. We can attest to the fact that people trooping in and out to see what is happening, buy items. A lot of people come here for items, and they get a very affordable rate. Thank you.
So the question then, first of all, how long is this market going to be open?
Okay, the market is actually one of the longest trade fair or discount market ever held across the country. It's for 10 days. It's open from 5th to the 15th of December. It opens from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m.
8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Wow.
in the night.
Okay. So when we say discounted, forgive me for asking, how much discount?
Right.
I'm trying to help one market woman know that this is cheaper than the one that they normally go to.
Okay. Like, let me take, for instance, the camera in front of me here. In the market, when we go for our market surveillance, we got that camera for 150,000. It's a smart camera. The here is being sold for 90,000. Same quality, the same brand, everything.
It goes for how much?
If you come to bag of rice, if you come for rice, we'll have rice that is sold in the market for 55,000. We'll get it here for 39,000. So you can do the mathematics and you have the answer to yourself.
I hope you are ready for the deluge, because
that cut across the clothing, the kitchen utensils, and everything you can think of.
You do realize that you are on national TV, and some people can actually take a flight from Lagos to come to you there just to buy all these things you're talking about.
We're here.
Wow. So, which means it's not just for the people of River State. Anybody else can come around to come and buy. Is that what you're saying?
Of course. We have a Mozambique here as a vendor. We have a South African here as a vendor. We have people from Anambra, Onitsha that sell shoes. We have people from Lagos that makes shoes. We have people from Abuja that sell clothing. We have people from Akwa Ibom. We have people from different parts of the country. They're all here. The vendorship is just free for everybody that met our requirement.
Right. So what's in it for the vendors themselves if they sell at possibly cost price, and the people who benefit are really the buyers? So what's in it? How do the vendors make their profit?
Okay, like I said, people will meet. Most of the people we have here are the producers and manufacturers. So they sell these items to the distributors, and the distributors sell to the retailers. So those prices they sell to the distributor is what they sell here. The distributor will sell to retailer will sell to consumer.
Right. Okay.
I understand. So now you buy direct from the stores.
Right.
It's far cheaper than what it is.
Okay.
Out there in the conventional market.
You said as long as the people meet your criteria. What are the criteria?
Okay, the criteria first is you register or have your details, ensure that the goods you're selling are not substandard. You understand? We'll come to your shop if you have a shop. If you don't, then tell us what you sell. We'll go make inquiries. And when you bring their goods here, we'll check them. We'll have the NDLEA, is it NAFDAC team here for people that sell like the drugs. There are some drugs from herbal drugs. Ensure that they are all registered. So these are criteria. You must meet them before you're admitted into the discount market.
Okay. You said the market is going to be open for 10 straight days.
That's correct.
Now, what are the objectives post-event? Because I know that after these 10 days, some people might also, you will definitely have some expectations as to what you want to happen afterwards. You have given us a taste, and we don't want to just have a taste. We want to have a restaurant there. So what are the plans in that regard?
The discount market is the seasonal market. And since October, being on adverts that the market is for 10 days. So everything you want is here. We'll have entertainment, we'll have people selling food, we'll have everything. So it's for the period of 10 days. We don't want to kill our conventional market to extend it. So this period is a grace period that the government have provided for its citizens to come here and get items, at least for this festive period. So after this, everybody fall back to the conventional market. So if you can't get it, then go back to the conventional market and go. I think I don't need to answer your question.
Yes, but we don't want the conventional market again. We have tasted.
Yeah,
who doesn't want to buy a bag of rice for 40,000 naira from whatever price?
So are there any plans, future plans to not just make this an end of the year Christmas thing, but maybe other festive periods like during the Muslim festivals and when you have Easter celebrations as well? Do you have plans for that, or are those plans already in place?
Okay, we are in talk with the state governor. We are trying to see how we can extend outside Christmas. The governor is still considering that. So as immediately we have a green light from him, we will make it available to the public. So trust me, we're working on that.
And what's the reception been like, by the way?
So far, from our statistics, we've recorded over 17,000 people inflow. This is the 9th day. You understand? We have our cameras here, monitoring what's happening here. The turnout is unprecedented, trust me.
What do you mean it's unprecedented? You expected it. Things are cheap.
I'm answering your question because it's close to. You can imagine buying rice of 55,000 or 39,000. Wouldn't you want to come here around?
Why do you think I said that Lagos will come to your market to come and ship everything away? But okay, let me also ask you this. So, is there any pushback from the conventional market? I mean, one would expect that, to some extent, some of them are going to push back and say, oh God, they're spoiling market for us, so to speak. That's what the language is. Is there any such pushback, or do you think was there any conversation with the market associations in the environment, just so that there is no bad blood?
The world is very large enough to contain all of us. Even if we have 20 discount markets in River State, people still go to the conventional market to get things they couldn't get here. So there is no complaint whatsoever. Even some of the people in the conventional market do come here to buy things for their own use, so they know it's a festive or the seasonal market. So everybody's cooperating and everybody's fine, trust me. It's for the interest of the people. Nobody can say you're against the well-being of other persons. No. This kind of market is just for 10 days. It will soon be over, and the conventional market take over the event.
Okay, I will say it again. We don't want it to end. We want it to continue. But anyway, okay, so talk to us about we have just a few minutes, but talk to us about the health services, the health insurance, enrollment, blood pressure, blood sugar, and all those other checks. Talk to us about those.
Okay, first we have we'll have the River State Management Board on ground with two ambulances, with 2 doctors and 4 nurses on each. Then we also have a hospital here by the side doing free medical checks. There's a vendor also here that do free medical check. So and so far we've been on the happy side. We've not recorded any form of incident whatsoever. At least I think the doctors are bored because there's no crisis for them to treat. So we're fine. But then we'll have the emergency team on ground for any occurrence whatsoever.
All right. Well, we have to thank you very much, Mr. Spurgeon. I know that this idea came up, and it's not something that's been, it couldn't have been easy, even though you have to do a lot of crowd management and all of that. But before you go, let me ask you this one. Clothing, materials, household goods, food stuff, Christmas gifts, unique treasures, books and educational materials. Which one are people patronizing the most?
First of all, I'm just the coordinator. I'm not a vendor. But then, it's a festive period. With a layman idea, I think the clothing, the food, will sell more, because as I did for yesterday, I saw some NNPC staff came here to buy about 10 million naira worth of rice.
Wow.
And oil. We also have some oil companies here, oil companies there. You understand? Vegetable oil. So I think that will have the higher value, if you ask me, my personal view actually. The clothing, people on logo during the festive period, even during the Ramadan period, also clothing, people looking good, wearing good shoes and the rest. So those I think they patronize more during this time. But nevertheless, other people are selling, like the hair vendors, the people selling boxes, other kitchen utensils, they're all selling. I've not gotten any negative reports so far. No, even there, I have some company that sell engine oil, specialized engine oil. They're here and they made sales. Some people have gone because they sold out.
Wow.
Yeah.
You understand? More than 100 of our vendors have gone. We replace them with the new one because we have over 600 vendors here and we have about 300 waiting. So once you sold out, you bring it out and put other people. Like this morning, we registered like 20 vendors this morning.
Wow.
So it's
and today is
actually
day
helping
9.
the local economy.
And you said today is day 9. You said today is the 9th day.
Yes.
And tomorrow is the 10th day.
Tomorrow is the 10th day, Sunday.
And it's the last day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the last day. That's the grand finale.
Any room for expansion?
Say again?
Any room for expansion? Extra time?
No.
How do you do crowd control? We have to wrap up really, but
yes, we have our team of security experts here. We have the men of NSCDC, we have the Nigeria Police, we have the RSSSD. There's a bodyguard company we brought. We have the road safety corps. We also have our internal committee members managing the crowd from the car park to the entrance. We'll have the protocol people. If you want ask what do you want clothes, you go this line. We'll have line A, line B, line C, line D, and the rest of it. So whatever you want, we'll put them in segment. So what do you want to go this way, get it. So we're, like I told you, have zero record for emergencies. So we're fine. We are managing it very well.
Right, we must thank you for your time on the program today. We wish you the best of luck with the rest of the remaining days and, of course, the grand finale of the market. Mr. Reginald Spurgeon, River State Discount Market Coordinator. A pleasure again having you on the program, and well done.
Thank you. God bless you.
I told you about shopping.
You went away. You didn't want to shop.
I told you about shopping. I was going to go and buy a visa to go to Port Harcourt, but they said that the visa has finished. Anyway, another thing that people do in at festive seasons, go to cinemas, make, watch movies, concerts.
And make movies.
And
make money.
And make money. Thank you very much. You are probably wondering where I'm going. Well, we're talking to one of the forebearers of those things that you enjoy at festive seasons, among other times, when we return with our home stretch.
And we're on the home stretch. Ayo, take it away.
Our guest is a renowned Nigerian filmmaker, cinematographer, producer. But what you saw on stage was not film.
It was a stage.
It was stage. You'll find out the nexus with that one. He's made significant contributions to the Nigerian film industry, and he's dedicated more than 4 decades of his life to promoting Nigerian culture through film. He attended Abeokuta Grammar School, where his passion for storytelling and literature blossomed. Later attended London Film School, earning a diploma in art and technique of filmmaking. And he has received numerous awards, including the Lifetime Achievement at the S16 Film Festival and the Pan-African Film Festival Award for Best African Narrative Feature. Please welcome, no drum rolls, we call him TK, Tunde Kilani. Thank you for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure. Already the festive season has started, and I seize this opportunity to wish you and our viewers on Channel Television a Merry Christmas in advance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
When an elder wishes you Merry Christmas, the Christmas is already merry. How's it been, sir? How has it been, sir?
It's fine. I couldn't complain. I've been busy for the past few weeks. Preparation for ending the year on a positive note.
Now, talking about busy, there are those who are wondering. I haven't heard from you in a while. Those who are wondering would remember. Well, those who know would remember, and those who are looking at you will be wondering, who is he? Those who know would know that you were the brain behind Oleku back in then. At that time, Shaworoide, I think 1 and 2, and a number of other beautiful, flicks that you have made over time. A good number of them rooted in culture. And so, but we haven't in a while heard from you. So when you say you have been busy, we are querying you.
Busy doing what?
How's it been really? What have you been doing, sir?
Thank you. some of the audience are getting anxious that I'm not as busy as I should have been. But we did actually release Cordelia perhaps in October this year.
Oh.
And I've just finished a short film, which is going to be the new Koshegbe. We did a teaser with the new Nikon Red ZR camera. So it was a teaser, and at the same time was a camera test in preparation for 2026. So I apologize. I've not been, perhaps let the audience down because I've not been as prolific or hardworking as I should have been. This is due to some circumstances, Nigerian atmosphere, but it's okay. I'm promising by 2026 we are going to go straight to work, and I thank the audience for their support over the years. And it is the audience support that has made Nollywood popular. The audience, the Nigerian audience, helped Nollywood to stand on its feet. Because our people, they know that most of those productions are flawed, but they still prefer the worst of Nollywood to the best of Hollywood. I hope we are not losing all that. We must never take the audience for granted. So thank you for that challenge, and accept it.
That's a very, very interesting way to put it, and that's really applauded. I know that Joke is inching to come, but let me just ask this question. It's not very common for people behind the camera, one, to be known for their work, and then two, for them to be interviewed. They're the ones always shooting camera in people's faces. A good number of producers and directors, when I ask them to come on the program, they just don't want to be seen. They want to push forward their actors and all of that. So how has that been for you? It's also an industry thing. Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, and all of them. Hardly would you find a good number of them in front of their cameras. Is that part of the training?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, my work is a dialogue between me and the audience. So it's important that I engage the audience or we talk. It's not just me pushing the stories to them. No, it's part of the process. And I do appreciate, I told you, the contribution of the Nigerian audience, my collaborators, supporters, benefactors who have sustained my filmmaking. And so occasionally I like also to sit down and talk about the movie, what it meant at that particular time, and what we are likely to be doing. I think we are going to be revisiting some of the IPs, the iconic films, because Nigeria has moved on. In the case of the new Koshegbe, which is likely to be the next project, the film was made in 1995, and specifically it focuses on the customs, the Nigerian customs, as representing Nigeria. But 25 years since that time, what has changed? What has happened? Both in the Nigerian society, the people, the economy, and all the socials between now and then. Is Nigeria or the particular parastatal Nigeria custom, has it changed? So what has happened and things like that. So it's a dialogue between me and the audience. So I sometimes welcome. I don't just do interviews, but how can I refuse the opportunity to talk, to be on Channels Television, the whole Channels Television. There's no way I could turn that down.
All right.
So I'm here.
Right. Yeah. Right. You spoke a few minutes ago. You talked about, when we were asked, what you were doing, being busy, and you said in 2026 that you want to, begin work, hit the ground running. And I mentioned earlier a couple of, works popular works that you've done that we've all enjoyed watching, and we will watch it again and again. So if I can ask you this, what inspires your storytelling? We've noticed that it's embedded in culture and it tells a story of, things that happen around us all the time. But how do you, pinpoint, you get to that point of this is what I want to talk about in my work and this is why I want to talk about it?
I respond to my environment a lot, and I think that the African filmmakers, we do not have the luxury of, we are imbued with certain responsibilities. That is, we make films that entertain, but at the same time, we make films that, focuses on the social, political times. Anytime one is making this, when I'm making a film, I make films that have a bit of myself in it, and I do respond, to the social lives of all of us. How are we doing? How are we faring? How about the leaders? Are they delivering? What do they hold any promise? What do we have to do? So we need to constantly engage and ask questions and so on. But again, I respond a lot to literature. I do a lot of adaptation from the stories that I have. How do I share them? But this is what keeps me going. And of course, I also respond to technology. I'm excited by technology, having worked in unknown technologies of making motion pictures. I think there's a lot of excitement as the tools that's available to storytellers these days. And I envy the young one. The last short film that I just made, the New Koshegbe, the teaser, I made sure that about 50 young people, were around, so we interacted, and that trend will continue. I always make sure that we take the youth along with us.
I'm excited about what you said, TK, that you have worked with all the technology that existed in this generation in filmmaking. Some people would shudder to imagine the celluloid age and to where we are now. Back then, you had to manage the shortest inch of the tape just to ensure that you cut it all. But today, all you have to do is get as much, storage drives and storage spaces as possible. But you may want to speak to that and how it has helped you to manage movie making, storytelling, and the rest of that, and how that has helped, or is helping, or may have worked against the young people in their own filmmaking campaigns in all of their lives. What's been different for you, and how should we be embracing technology, particularly for the young generation, in telling the authentic African stories?
When we started making films, none of us we could not own the means of production, and we were tied to foreign technical support. For instance, we import the films from abroad, put it in the cameras, and show the film, but we couldn't even process the film, so we had to send everything back to Europe or America, and then the films come back, we sync the sounds, and then we finish the editing, and we carry everything back to Europe. And it's very interesting because you remember at this time there's no monitor, so we just have the viewfinder, which the director sometimes check, and that's it. So we don't know what we have done, which is going to be seen maybe 2 months later after production. So we have to be on top of what we are doing, make sure the light, the exposure, everything is all right. And then we had a phase where all that ended with the military dictatorship, the SAP period, structural adjustment program, and we had to find our way. And Nigeria adopted home video for some time. And for some of us professionals, it was very ridiculous making films on home video. But I was one of the few who appropriated that technology and squeezed all the quality out of it using adapters and things like that. But now we are back in full circle because we went through digital video and all the various strains of analog video and then digital video, DV, Betacam, SP, and things like that. And then we went to digital video. But today, we now have cinematic video, which is both almost the same specification as celluloid did. In my last experience using the Nikon Red ZR, we were shooting raw. We were shooting a red codec raw, which means that this small camera gives us almost the same latitude that we used to use in celluloid. We talk about the dynamic range, which is about 15:1, ratio, contrast ratio. What it means is that, like film, this digital system will see not only the highlight area, but can see well into the contrasted, the low light area, all within a particular scene. So what else could we ask for? And it reminds me of when we talk about, we went around shooting 100 full rolls of film, which translates to only 2 minutes. So we were expected to cover news with 2 minutes material. You have to train yourself to edit as you shoot the material for the editors. And later we shot 35 mil and all of these things. But video gives the impression that it goes on forever. So people became, less creative because they were just recording. But when we chose the codec, and on a 64 gig card, CF Express card, it allowed us only 1 minute of shooting. So we had to try another codec, which gave us 11 minutes of shooting time because of the amount of demand for storage. And you remember when we used to shoot 35 mm, the 400 full magazines gave us 10 minutes only. So we were back in another circle. And I'm talking of films you shoot that's going to go to the cinema, that's going to be given large projection. But of course, you can shoot more friendly, study-friendly codecs if you are shooting a documentary or something like that. But the advantage of the advancement in technology, which is available and affordable today, is that it gives us a tool to tell our stories. All these young people, stories are everywhere as we approach 2027.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of drama happening all over the place. And so I think the young people should get smart, get educated, get skilled, and even with their smartphone, because I teach smartphone cinematography. Wow. And with a little investment or whatever they already have, they can continue to tell their stories.
I think I need to come and enroll in that class very, very quickly. Because I've been told, I've seen a few short films that says that my phone is actually used to shoot movies, even in Hollywood. So I think a good number of people might do well to say that. We are hoping, to host you in the studio one of these days, TK, because you are definitely one of those people that filmmaking in Nigeria will never forget for your own name, your voice, your imprint on the sands of time. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Tunde Kelani is a renowned Nigerian filmmaker, cinematographer, and producer. An angle we have not covered is how we should use culture to tell authentic Nigerian story and build global trust for our nation. Well, that will be some other time. Thank you so much for your time.
Take a whole program on this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, and that is the artist of the week and the program today.
Yes, it was a pleasure hosting all of you and, you know, telling you about the things that have happened during the week and the things that are happening every day in Nigeria and beyond. Well, we must end it there. Thank you so much. I'm Joke Rogers.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yes, I'm joining TK to say that.